Hey there folks, coming to you again from the bedroom. Today's video it will be a bit hard to explain, but I'll try my best. So you may know that in Christian tradition, in the weeks leading towards Christmas, you eat a special diet. It's a time of Lent, so no animal products. It's a bit like a vegetarian diet. And for Christmas evening, even if you don't follow the Christian tradition, you don't fast during the time of Lent, it's still customary here in Bulgaria to have an array of dishes with no animal products in them. And one of the most iconic things which are present on the Christmas table is a type of sour cabbage wraps, which is called sar-mi in Bulgarian. This is a plural of sarma, which is a single one. It's a cabbage leaf, which you take out of the sauerkraut, but sauerkraut made out of whole cabbages, as the ones I showed you in a previous video, which are fermented whole, not shredded. So you take the sour cabbage, you take the whole leaves, you cut them in small pieces, and each of the leaves is then folded with a mix of usually rice, but it can be substituted by bulgur, which is more traditional before rice was widespread. And then you add finely cut leeks and onions and also mushrooms if you have any. Traditionally, people forage for mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms are common here in the forest on that type of the year. So it's something which is regularly added. And those wraps are then cooked, usually boiled, but you can also oven cook them and served for dinner along with thick beans stew and some other dishes which are more or less traditional. But the postni sar-mi, which is wraps, cabbage wraps with no meat in them, no minced meat, is one of the most important dishes which we do for Christmas evening. So in the following time lapses, you get to see how mainly my mother, but also I helped for some of the preparations, doing the whole process. First preparing the condiments which go into the filling, and then cutting the leaves and wrapping each individual little sarma, each individual wrap. And then we cook them in a pressure cooker for maybe 15 minutes, and that's it. Also, if you are more practical, you can cook in the same pressure cooker in 2 layers, separated by a few of the whole cabbage leaves. Two types of cabbage wraps. One of them is with meat, with minced meat, and the other one without. So if you want to have some meat containing sarma next day after Christmas, when you are allowed by tradition and custom to have meat after all, when the time of Lent is over, then you can have the meat type. And the previous night you can have the one with no meat. And this is what we've done. So enjoy the time lapses, and I'll see you tomorrow. The filling for the wraps is grated carrots, minced mushrooms, minced leeks and onions, along with some rice or bulgur. You can prepare those in advance, even on a previous day, and store them in the fridge to save time. Then it's a simple process of just sauteing lightly the mix of contents with some vegetable oil, starting with the onions and leeks, and then add the carrots when the leeks are getting soft in the pan. Then add the mushrooms and some of the sour cabbage brine for liquid, some pepper and thyme. No need for salt, as the brine is salty and the sour cabbage is of course salty as well. Finally, when the mushrooms are starting to cook nicely, add the rice and some more brine. The idea is not to have it all fully cooked, but to allow the different ingredients to combine well together. When the mix is ready, the wrapping can commence. You can see the way my mother takes a whole leaf of sour cabbage, spreads it out, then cuts out the thickest veins and pieces, which won't allow a good tight wrap. She then portions the leaf in smaller pieces, usually smaller than her palm. A spoon of rice mix is put on the leaf and then tucked in and tightly wrapped into a roll. Each roll is placed in the large pressure cooking pot. At the bottom of the pot, we put a couple of spread whole leaves of the cabbage, which prevents the sar-mi from burning at the bottom. The wraps are put in layers until the mix is over. On top of the whole pile of sar-mi in the large pressure cooking pot, we put another layer of cabbage leaves and then a dinner plate to press it all down. Water is added so the rice can boil properly, but also it's very important to add some of the cabbage brine for better taste and proper salt content to the dish, as no other salt was added previously. After 15 to 20 minutes of pressure cooking, they are done, and they can be served hot, but also they taste great when they're eaten cold on the next day. So that was all for our postni sarmi, and I will see you tomorrow.